Yes. We are live.
We're live. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Sports Today, and today we are going to discuss day 2 and the next two quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. And boy, do we have two very interesting matches for you today as well. We've got Villarreal versus Bayern Munich.
You are overselling Villarreal versus Bayern Munich.
Well, they did win the Europa League. I mean,
but it's expected that Bayern will definitely
favourites.
Yes.
But Chelsea versus Real Madrid, a rematch of last season's semi-final, which Chelsea won, of course, as we know, because they went on to win the title. And so this match is definitely going to be a cracker, as will be the previous game if Villarreal can muster up a bit of a fight. But talking of Villarreal, I think their form recently has not looked great at all. I mean, they've lost their last league match to relegation strugglers Levante and are currently sitting 7th in the league. That's not a place where a Champions League competing club should aspire to be sitting right now.
Yeah, another interesting stat about Villarreal is that among the games that they have played at home in the Champions League, they only won one game, and that was against Young Boys in the group stages, of course. But we should also talk about how they defeated Juventus 3-0 in the second leg. Yeah. Nobody thought they would beat Juventus.
Exactly.
Juventus were the favourites, but Villarreal somehow just
managed to pull off the miracle.
Yes, miracle I won't call it, but definitely something out of the ordinary for sure. Nobody expected it, but I have to also talk about their current home run. Yeah. They have, I think so, been unbeaten in about 8 or 9 games. And even teams like Atletico Madrid and as well as Real Madrid, by the way, have failed to beat them at home. So that's going to be tough one for Bayern Munich to crack.
It is also worth noting that their manager, Unai Emery, has made it to the quarterfinals for the first time, the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, for the first time in his managerial career. Wow. The last time he was in the round of 16 that I remember would be a memorable time for Barcelona fans, because it was the occasion of La Remontada. 3-0 down, 4-0, and they ended up losing in the second leg somehow. Still one of the greatest, two-legged matches that I've seen in my life. But this is a wholly different team. And Villarreal have been doing very, very well under Unai. It's also worth noting that they will, however, have a few concerns when it comes to their injuries. So left back Alberto Moreno will not be available for sure. There's also Samuel Chukwueze and Boulaye Dia, who we were having a bit of banter about, saying Boulaye Dia.
His name sounds like Boulaye
Dia.
It's Boulaye Dia, but it's Boulaye Dia.
So, and neither Chukwueze or Dia are in doubt for the match right now. But in perhaps, which is something of a boost for the other submarines, Gerard Moreno will be available to lead the line. So Unai Emery will be very, very thankful for that. But enough about Villarreal, and let's talk about
Bayern. How many goals did they score against RB Salzburg in the second leg?
7 goals. I think it was
7-1. It was like a Germany versus Brazil game.
All over again.
The 7-1 scoreline, guys. But yes, when the first leg happened and the game ended 1-1 against Salzburg, everybody was pointing out that how a team like Bayern Munich were held to a draw
against
by somebody like Salzburg.
Yeah.
But then what they did in the second leg
was oof.
You know it. You know what Lewandowski brings to the table. You know how their midfield, and in fact they've got so many players who are like top
notch.
That you might have to leave out players like Serge Gnabry or either Leroy Sané, somebody, one of those in this game tonight. So you have to see that Bayern's quality, of course, way better than Villarreal, but maybe Villarreal can pull something of a miracle. If they beat them, that would be
a minor miracle for sure. Of course, it's also worth noting that these two teams met 10 years back in the Champions League, and that time Bayern emerged victorious. So I think it would be safe to say that, history-wise, as well as looking at them right now, Bayern start as clear favourites. They also don't seem to have too many issues when it comes to injuries. They don't have Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting because he's tested positive for COVID, but he's mostly a super sub anyway. Corentin Tolisso will also be missing out, but again, given they have the likes of Kimmich and Goretzka in the midfield, most likely missing out. Yet, and perhaps what is the best news for them is that Alphonso Davies could be starting at left back. Now, Davies, as we remember, contracted COVID-19 and was also then later diagnosed with a condition called myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart that comes after an infection. He's been out for 3 months. He could be starting tonight, so watch out for that. But enough about these guys, and time on to move on.
No, but I have to say, few years back you saw Choupo-Moting at Stoke City, okay? And imagine somebody at Stoke City going to play for PSG, performing really well, impressing one and all, and then boss Bayern picked him up.
Munich picked him
up. It's like what happened with Serge Gnabry also.
Yes.
Gnabry at one point was at Arsenal, was never utilized properly.
Struggled to play at West Brom.
Yeah, West Brom also. So Arsenal, West Brom, and then imagine
he's a world beater now.
He's a great player now and playing for one of the top clubs in Europe. Who would have thought?
And speaking of top clubs in Europe, my beloved Chelsea, let's get to them. And yes, I'm a little biased. That's why if you join us live a lot, you know they call me Shane Bias. So,
Shane Bias.
Yeah. Now, obviously, recent times haven't been very good for Chelsea fans.
No, I will say that because, guys, if you remember the scoreline from last weekend, Chelsea got beaten by, what was the scoreline?
4-1 Brentford.
4-1 against Brentford, by the way. And this was after they had a good run of unbeaten games.
Yeah, 6 games unbeaten.
6 games unbeaten. And imagine Chelsea, nobody would have thought that they are going to drop points. But
and
now, because they dropped those points, that has made the interesting top 4 race altogether.
Which Chelsea we will also be talking about soon enough. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, so obviously, that, but again, as I'll say, as a Chelsea fan, I think I'm used to the club dropping one performance like this, where they'll ship 4 or 5 goals against a team you least expected. But in good news for them, there's not much problems when it comes to the injury side of things. The only confirmed absentee at this point, Ben Chilwell, who has been out for a long time with a long-term injury. Callum Hudson-Odoi may or may not be available due to issues he's had recently with his back and Achilles. But everyone else is fit and available for selection. Massive boost for Thomas Tuchel.
Massive boost for Thomas Tuchel, but I also expect them to have a different sort of formation this time around.
Yeah, I don't think they're going for at the back. Not a chance.
They're definitely not going for at the back. I think so. It's going to be Christensen, Silva and Rudiger. And that 3 at the back. Yes. And then with Reece James and Marcus Alonso
on the wing back. Yes, most likely.
And I am looking forward to that battle between Vinicius Jr. and Reece James, because
very
both of them are super quick, and it's going to be very interesting to see. I think that could well decide the tie.
Absolutely.
Of course, there are players like Karim Benzema, who by the way won them that game against PSG.
Almost single-handedly.
Very. The way he performed after they were, by the way, 0-2 down in across the 2 legs. So the way Benzema performed, and then for Real Madrid to win that game with an aggregate of 3-2, scoring those 3 goals.
Yeah.
PSG did not know what hit them.
And I think it's not the first time in their history that they've done that, as we were alluding to earlier. Benzema, by the way, I have to say this, underrated striker for years, overshadowed by the likes of Bale and even Ronaldo.
Overshadowed, I think so. He deserved to be overshadowed by the likes of Ronaldo.
But he's finally proven.
Yes.
Finally proven.
Also, we have to say that Ronaldo and Benzema really gelled well.
They are very good partnership.
They have very good partnership. And Ronaldo also, you usually don't see him enjoy others getting the limelight, but there were times he would give that limelight to Benzema.
Yes,
that's the kind of friendship they shared, the bond they shared at Real Madrid.
And
but now let's talk about what happened to Real Madrid before the international break at the El Clasico. They lost 4-0 to Barcelona, and even though they've got like a 12-point lead at the top, and they've played a game extra, but still losing 4-0 when you are supposed to go on and win the title, you are running away with the title, and then you lose 4-0 to a side. Your arch rivals.
Arch rivals, and who were, when they appointed Xavi as the new manager, 9th in the table. So it's a testament to how much Barca have grown since then. But Real's recent form has been worrying.
But at least they defeated Celta Vigo at the weekend this time around.
Yeah,
they won 2-1.
Good time to be winning, bad time for Chelsea fans to be losing. But hey, what do, right?
But how big is it gonna be? They're going to be looking for revenge against Chelsea. We know that.
For sure. And Real Madrid and the Champions League are a love story of sorts. 13 titles. I mean, the next most is AC Milan with 7. That means they've won nearly double the number of titles at the second.
I remember when it was 10, then it became 11, 12, 13.
You know how long it took them to get to 10?
10, I know, but I'm saying the moment it became 10, it suddenly became 11, 12, 13.
Out of nowhere. And that core, a lot of the core of that side is still there. Benzema, Toni Kroos, Casemiro, Modric, all still performing at a very high level. So they have, and let's forget.
That's coming from a Chelsea fan, guys. Chelsea fan is saying they're all performing at a high level. And who are you backing, Shane? I know you are backing Chelsea.
I will back Chelsea.
No, backing Chelsea. But what does your mind tell you? Your heart. I'm not asking about your heart because we know your heart says Chelsea.
Yeah, so heart says Chelsea win. Mind says it might well be a draw because let's forget, they're also managed by a man who knows how to win the European Cup. Carlo Ancelotti is a 5-time European champion, won it twice as a player, thrice as a manager, including once with Real. So he knows how to win this tournament, and it will be very, very tough to beat them.
Also, he's been a former manager at Chelsea.
Yes,
as well.
I liked him when he was there. Very, very
Carlo
classy
Ancelotti
man.
has been like there for ages. Boss.
Yeah, for decades now, he's been around as one of the best minds in football.
One of the oldest minds, also was still at the top level. Top level management. He was at Everton,
and he was struggled.
He was at Everton before this. And Everton, when the moment came, when Real Madrid, think tank asked him to come aboard, he's like, boss, of course I have to leave.
It's
Everton.
Real Madrid.
Go back to my club.
It's Real Madrid. Who says no to Real Madrid?
Yeah, Real Madrid. For me, I think Real Madrid definitely start as favourites considering how Chelsea fared over the weekend, because it was a very shocking loss, guys.
Yeah.
Losing 4-1 to a side that are not even in the top half was a surprise. You can lose 1-0, 2-0 at times.
Yeah, but 4-1 was a bit of an implosion.
4-1, it was also, I guess, about their formation, and I'm sure Thomas Tuchel will definitely look at the formation and probably put 3 at the back.
Because the thing with playing Silva, he's old. He has the mind.
He's amazing. I really like Thiago Silva.
He can be slow if he doesn't have cover, and that's where Christensen and Rudiger are key, because they're pacey. They will cover for him, and he can then direct the play. But if it's
enjoy it while it lasts, because
I love that, man.
No, but Christensen is going. Rudiger is also.
Don't remind me of it. Yes.
And by the way, where is Christensen going to? Most probably to their
arch rivals.
Arch rivals Barcelona.
Yes. So yeah, he's been tailor-made for that club, the way he plays. So I really wish him well. I'm very glad he's not joining a Premier League club. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah, at one point, though, you have to also see and say that this guy was not even part of your top 11 when you were playing. He was not. But then he has moved himself back into that contention and now a regular part of the side.
So I remember following him from the days when he was in the academy, and he was always considered a top name. He came and he was in and out of the team, had a few loan spells. Recently, though, he's finally living up to the potential that everyone saw in him years back. So I'm very happy for him in that sense.
Very happy for him, but you're going to lose him this season, next season basically.
Well,
this season he's
it's okay.
Still there.
If he still wins a couple of more trophies, I'll be happy with it. Players come and go.
Yeah, by the way, but defending champions, Chelsea 2-time champions now, last year came off as a surprise for a lot of people.
It came as a surprise even in 2012. It's okay.
Yeah, and they defeated Bayern Munich that time around.
Yeah,
Bayern Munich, nobody would have
City
thought.
was actually a little more easier in that regard, because
in
the league
also that final, the 2012 final was a 1-1 draw after extra time,
and then penalties.
Peter Cech also.
Peter Cech, Drogba, all heroes.
Drogba, I have to say, even though I'm a United fan, I used to really like Didier Drogba. Was one of those guys who you knew would can take the game away from you.
Man for the big occasions,
always the man for the big occasions. But the man for the big occasion here
is Karim
Benzema, guys. He's been on such a goal scoring spree. He's the one who's taking the team forward, and he's the reason why Real Madrid are gonna walk away with the title. And there's gonna be not much of a challenge, because they already have such a huge lead at the top of the table.
In the Spanish league, they're walking away with it quite comfortably. So, do we have any interesting questions, by the way?
Actually, Chaitanya Gupta is asking, what's the news about Azpilicueta? Are there talks with Barca? Or new Chelsea presented him with a new contract?
Oh, so that's interesting. That there was some news about that recently. Good question, that is. So there was an option in his contract that if he played a certain number of games this year, it would automatically trigger a 1-year extension. So that has been already. It's been triggered because he's played those number of games. So he's going to be there for 1 more year. The problem is that I think he wants to stay. The club definitely want him to stay, but due to the situation with the owners right now, they can't be extending contracts or signing players.
They can't be signing players. That's the problem with Roman. I think so. Once the ownership changes, then it'll be fine.
Won't be a problem.
And the club is up for sale, and I'm sure there are talks happening in the back room.
Yeah, it's going to be a very quick process, and be tuned for that, because I promise you guys, once it does happen, I intend doing something. A little deep dive.
A Chelsea fan talking about Chelsea, of course, he's gonna want to hear about it. But Kun Sinuero, who has got
nice username.
Kun Sinuero says that it's gonna be. He's laughing, by the way, at you. Brentford 4, Chelsea 1. He's trolling you.
Okay, big deal. You win some, you lose some. That is pretty much how sport works. I mean, look at me. There's KKR versus MI today. KKR have literally never ever had a good run against them. Still wearing the shirt. Support is key.
Yeah, Freedom says Visa El Barca. So we know who is supporting.
Yeah.
Definitely Chelsea, because there's no doubt.
And by the way, I also had a soft spot for Barca at one point due to the presence of one Leo Messi. So
well, I am a Ronaldo fan, so I would say that no, I never had a soft spot for Barca. Plus, they defeated us twice: 2009 final, 2011 final. They defeated us twice. What if we could have won even one of those Champions League titles? Disappointing. But yes, Villarreal versus Bayern Munich. Your score predictions, Shane?
I think Bayern will. Is it a home game for Bayern?
No, Villarreal.
Oh, okay. No, I think
We
Bayern.
discussed, no? There's home run.
Oh, yeah,
there's
home run. Right. So I think
Yellow
Bayern,
submarine, boss.
Yeah, I think Bayern will win, but it will be like 3-1.
Bayern win 3-1. I would say Bayern would win 2-0.
Okay, so we're both going for a 2-goal difference, but with different score lines.
Okay. Now about this.
I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. I expect a high scoring game.
A 2-2 draw. I think so. Freedom was also talking about 2-2 draw.
Very interesting.
But I'm not sure. He has written 4-0 after that. So it could be about one of these games. Nobody.
Let's see.
Chaitanya Gupta says that Brentford victory was a Christian Eriksen special.
You know, that is one reason I can't even be too mad at it. I remember being following or waiting anxiously when that collapse happened, Euro 2020, and the fact that he's still playing actively. It's like that meme. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't remember where it was. One match where it was against Brentford. I think it was a Newcastle player who fell on Eriksen. He didn't realize it was Eriksen, so he was about to go punch him.
Oh yeah,
and then he saw it was Eriksen. He was
hugged him.
That is how I feel about Christian
I
right
remember this being one of the headlines on the BBC.
Yeah.
By the way, Chaitanya Gupta, as said, Eriksen special. I have to point out that weekend specifically, I had Eriksen in my fantasy, and well, could have made him the triple captain and all.
Yeah. But anyway, what do you do?
Anyway,
You take the wins.
Suyash says, "Hello sir, love you," and then he says, "Hello sir, love you," and Vishwanathan. Sid V, by the way, is not here today. And
yeah, he's on his weekly off.
He's on his weekly
But
off.
thanks for the love. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And by the way, you saw the games last night.
Yes.
Even though we did not discuss it because we have decided that next week, when the second legs, sort of end, we'll
That's when
come
we're gonna
live
be
for
doing
you
live for you
guys
guys.
and discuss what had happened in those encounters.
Do join us then too.
Do join us then. But right now, Liverpool, I said they would score 4 goals, right?
They scored 3.
They
So
scored
close
3,
enough.
expected, but a 3-1 scoreline against Benfica. I think so they're going to score more goals next time around.
Yeah, very possibly because that team is firing on all cylinders and Benfica look a little clueless. So
Yeah, Benfica look a little clueless. I think so. It's also about how well Liverpool are playing. And boss, that Premier League title race is gonna get so interesting. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah.
So that was the first game. In the other game, what did you think?
I predicted a 0-0. You predicted a 2-0.
I said it will be. I said it is gonna be either a 1-0 victory or a 2-0 victory.
I was a 1-0 victory.
But
indeed.
did you enjoy the game? I sort of did not enjoy
See,
that.
I mean, look, this is a very subjective thing, and I know a lot of people don't like Simeone's brand of football. It's not for everyone. I agree, especially in today's world, which is dominated by German coaches and Hagen pressing. But they do play a certain way, and it's been working very well for them. That being said, not a very enjoyable match. But again, I've seen Chelsea play matches like that, so I can't really complain. We won the Champions League by parking the bus.
But let's talk about one guy, and somebody, if you remember in our chat yesterday, pointed about Kevin De Bruyne. What a guy, man! Like even if his team is unable to score a lot of goals,
He'll just conjure up something from
He
somewhere.
just conjures up something, and that credit also has to go to Phil
Foden.
The
Yep.
moment he came on, he created that space for Kevin De Bruyne to utilize, and the fact that it was his first touch with the ball, if I'm not wrong. Phil Foden also I'm very impressed
Phil
with.
Foden is I think.
I thought both him and Mason Greenwood are gonna be the best players from next generation, but Greenwood now
I don't know
what will happen to him.
Yeah,
that is besides the point. Krishnendu says, I want both of them to lose as a Barca fan.
Actually, yeah, Chelsea Barca have had a very interesting Champions League rivalry in that regard. If you go back in here.
By the way, Chaitanya is asking us, guys, please say a word on Arsenal, and then he says, can Arsenal make the top 4?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I always thought that Arteta could do something considering he did beat Chelsea in the 2019-20 FA Cup final, but it's been up and down since then. The problem being, of course, that there's been a lot of work to be done behind the scenes, and now that work is seemingly in place, and I think the players have a clearer idea of how it is that Arteta wants them to play. They've been phenomenal. I can't say that enough. I'm a Chelsea fan.
And
if I'm saying it,
no, hold on. They lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace.
but Palace themselves are another team that's
Patrick Vieira, a former Arsenal man, by the way.
Yes,
former Arsenal man, former Arsenal captain, part of the invincible side.
He was the captain.
He was the captain, as I said, former Arsenal captain. But by the way, I was pointing this out because you did not tell them that we are doing a separate video on the race for the top 4.
Yeah, do
And
check that out.
We're gonna do it soon enough. I'm sure you're gonna see it tomorrow morning or something.
Yes.
So watch out for that video, because that will explain who they are gonna face and what are their odds.
Yeah, we're going a little
looking
in depth, like even more in depth than this. So if you enjoy football discussions, that is definitely one that you cannot and should not miss.
Because we're going to look at how many points they probably need to get into that top 4 position. So by the way, stay tuned for that. And that's about it, guys. So again, 2 big games. This is the one to watch out for. This is the match of this round. This clash, Chelsea versus Real Madrid.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the viewership for this game
is going to be
higher than all the 3 games put together. And then of course there's Villarreal versus Bayern. And that game, we know who are the favorites. But my good friend Anuj Shukla's favorite team, Bayern Munich, are definitely gonna sort of win this game against Villarreal.
So do drop your own predictions in the comments below when this video is done, or even now. We might not be able to respond to all, but do believe that we see them.
Yeah, we do see them.